All right, we're going to get started, you guys. Thank you so much for being on the call tonight, where this is our monthly team integrity call. And I am so excited about this evening. And we get to hear from Denny Benedict, my sister, my friend, a mentor. She's just so much to me. So you guys are going to be so privileged to learn from her as I am constantly learning from her. So I am going to give you a little bit of her background. Some of you guys don't know Denny very well, so I would love to just share a little bit with you. She has been with the Juice Plus company now for 18 years, maybe a little bit over that. And she is currently a national marketing director, and so grateful to be partnered with her in this business with that. She's also a wellness coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I don't know if you guys heard her recording the other night, but it was amazing. All those speakers were from the Institute. So if you didn't get a chance, it is an amazing, just so well done. The video is just so well done. So take a listen to that. Denny's married to her husband, Brian, and they both graduated from Ohio University. So that's, yeah, that's where they met. They have 3 children, adult children. Adrian is out in Portland with her husband, Don, and their dog, and we're hoping they'll head back this way sometime. Chloe works for Abercrombie as a designer, and Dylan is a sophomore at OU. Imagine that. Yeah, so they both attended Ohio University, and Brian is so supportive of Denny. I just love his commitment and dedication to do whatever he can to be there for her. It's just beautiful to watch. So Denny is just an incredible example, you guys, of someone who saw the possibilities with this company, knew she could leave corporate America if she stayed dedicated to the tried and proven system. And she did it. She did it. And it was just such a huge celebration. Her first conference, I think she saw it. She cried the entire time, as did I. And but she did it. And she was able to leave that corporate America job in advertising. I believe you are a qualifying national marketing director, Denny. Is that right?
Was when I left, yeah.
Okay, okay. And I always hear the quote, she turned her can'ts into cans and her dreams into plans. And that's what she did. She had a plan, she had vision for what was possible, and she went after it. So now she is a flourishing national marketing director at the 12 club level, and her team is so privileged to have her leading the way. She is going to be leading the way tonight on our call, and Denny, we are just so grateful to learn from your wisdom, and so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Aw, thanks, Wendy. That was such a beautiful introduction. And I am here today in large part because of Wendy and her leadership, and raising up an NMD is not easy, especially one that failed a lot along the way. And just in, really to be an NMD, it's you, it's your team. You're representing a team of people. It's not so much you achieved it, but that your team achieved it. And Wendy was right there beside me the whole time, sometimes pulling me back up off the ground when I was disappointed, or kind of behind me, gently guiding me, or just arm in arm with me. And you're all very, very blessed to have her leading you. I can tell you that. So, and I know you all know that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So I do have a PowerPoint that I put together for this. And I'll tell you what, I call this Adjust Your Mindset for Success, but the truth is I should be calling it How to Fail Your Way to National Marketing Director, because that feels like it's a better description for me. So what this is really all the failures, not all of them, some of the bigger ones, some of the mindset transitions that had to take place for me. And I'll kind of share my story through it. But the thing that you need to remember just from the very start of this presentation is that your thoughts are so incredibly powerful. I have a master's in psychology. I've always loved psychology. I've always loved how the brain works and how we are in control of so much of how we move forward in life. That is just intriguing to me, and it has been for a long time. But your thoughts can either prevent change from happening, your thoughts can keep you right there in your comfort zone, or your thoughts can help you grow. And it's really your choice. So thoughts are the beginning of the results. Your thoughts lead to feelings. And then your feelings lead to the actions that you take. And then the actions that you take lead to your results. And the thing that's really interesting is there's so many different books out there about this. I mean, you could go back to Freud, Sigmund Freud, and his study of the conscious and the subconscious mind. One of my favorite books that really talks about this in great length and is hysterically funny. The language is a little spicy. I will say that. She's very authentic to who she is. But this book, You Are a Badass, it was so impactful for me. It's one of the latest books that I've read. But she points out in her book that we have a subconscious mind and we have a conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is fully developed when you're born. Okay, so think about that. And what it does, it just takes in all the unfiltered, and that's an important part of this definition. It doesn't know if it's right or wrong. It's unfiltered, and it just takes in all this information when we're young children. And that information we take in becomes your belief system. And we're completely oblivious to many of these subconscious beliefs. We have to really dig deep to know that they're there. And let's say, for example, let's say that your mom said to you when you were really young, whatever you do, don't eat yellow fruits and vegetables. And then later as an adult, you're finding that you have this huge aversion to yellow peppers and bananas and lemons, but you don't really have a story behind why, but it's a part of your belief system. Well, your conscious mind it develops around puberty. So it's learning and it's growing and it's developing after you're born. And it is that nonstop stream of thoughts that we have where you're just walking down the street and you're like, oh, this gum's pretty good. And as a matter of fact, maybe it's not that good. Wow, look at that shirt. Or, oh my gosh, I need to call my friend Julie. And it's just this conscious stream of thought, and it jumps from one thing to another. And it's all based on what the subconscious mind is telling it. So our conscious mind thinks that it's in control, but it isn't. Our subconscious mind doesn't think about anything. It's just bringing in unfiltered information, but it is in control. And I love the way she describes that, because that we can bring all that subconscious belief system to the forefront into our conscious mind. So for me, my story, I know many of you know my product story, so I'm not going to go into great detail with it. But basically, there was a huge, huge shift in thinking in both my product and my business story. I started out like Wendy. I had autoimmune issues for a long time, diagnosed in my 20s, had fibromyalgia. After our first child, Adrian, was born when I was 30, and our last child, Dylan, was born when I was 40. That decade also began a whole bunch of issues with severe migraines, chronic severe migraines, interstitial cystitis, and the fibromyalgia. And I really was a total victim to the sick care industry. We call it healthcare, but it's basically sick care management. And I never, ever thought that I was doing anything that would cause my sickness. And I'm going to say that again, because I think there's a lot of people out there who just don't know that they can take responsibility for their health. And that's where Wendy really, really spoke into my life. And she just kept dripping on me until I realized maybe there is something I could do that would affect my family's health. Maybe there is a positive step that I can take. Maybe the food that I do put into my body has a negative or a positive effect on my health and my family's health. I mean, all three of our kids had tubes in their ears because they had back-to-back ear infections. We were sick all the time. So that's when I said yes to Juice Plus. I started to feel better. Pretty quickly, I had more energy. I was exercising again. I was drinking more water. I was sleeping better. Within a year to 18 months of adding Juice Plus to my diet, after having fibromyalgia for 20 years, I didn't have it anymore. And I've been symptom-free for 15, 16 years. That was the beginning of an awareness and an awakening for me. As far as my business story, when Wendy was first talking to me about it, I kept trying to fit it into my concept of a business model, which is basically the corporate world, no time freedom, and a whole lot of stress. And so I kept trying to fit it into that model. And what I didn't understand is it wasn't anything like that. but that it actually could give me the flexibility, the freedom, and the potential to actually walk away from my corporate job. And I saw that vision at the conference. So if you haven't, I'm just going to put a big plug in for conference right now. If you're not committed, if you're on the fence, definitely go, because it will give you vision that nothing else can. It's amazing. And we're at such a pivotal time in the history of this company, and what's coming for all of us is just absolutely incredible. And I know you've already heard that from Wendy. So for me, it allowed me to walk away from that corporate job. But now I had goals with my business. And this is where all these mindset shifts had to take place. So when I was sharing Juice Plus with people before I had goals with it, I didn't have any kind of attachment to the results. But then when I came back and I said, Wendy, tell me what I need to do, step by step by step, just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. All this fear and scarcity came up for me. I mean, all these thoughts like, oh my gosh, what if they say no? What if nobody shows up to my event? Which, Wendy, that's another story I can tell you that happened. I am not enough. Huge. Oh my gosh, that came up so big for me. I'm not enough. I don't have what it takes to do this. I don't know enough people. But what I had to transition into, and what I want to encourage you to tell yourself every day when you wake up, is that you're not perfect, nor will you ever be. You're a work in progress, and that is definitely good enough. And be grateful for that. You're never going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Who wants to be perfect? Our character is what makes us, connected to each other. And I love this quote by Bob Dylan: we've never arrived. We're simply in a constant state of becoming. And if you can just embrace that you're always growing and evolving, sometimes at different rates, that you're always becoming, and not feel like you have to be a certain place in order to be enough, that in itself that's just a gift to you, and it's a gift to the people around you. So another fear and scarcity that came up for me is that I didn't really realize that what you focus on expands. So if you're thinking there's not enough of this, there's not enough people, what if this happens? All this stuff is running through your head, and all these fears are coming up. That's what you're focused on, and that's what you're going to bring more of into your life. Whereas if you're focused on just going out and just loving the crap out of people and just being grateful for everything that you have, even the challenges, because they bring growth, then you're going to bring more love. You're going to bring more gratitude into your life. That was a shift that had to take place for me. Judgment. And I think this is a really, really big one. For a long time, and I still find myself doing this, and I think it's human nature, we have a tendency to write somebody else's story for them. So we may see somebody and go, oh, they're not going to want the business. They're really successful. They've got a big house. They have a nice car. There's no way they're ever going to look at this. You don't know that. We judge. We decide somebody's story for them, and we don't have the right to do that. When you're judging another person, and this was super hard for me to hear the first time, you're not defining them. You're defining something that's inside of you. And if you think about that, if you're placing judgment, there's something inside of you that's causing that judgment. And I love this quote. The Dalai Lama says that love is the absence of judgment. So if we stop judging and we just go out and love people, doors are going to open for us. Because the truth is, you're not going to see, you see these women on this picture whose are big smiling faces. Well, they don't wear t-shirts saying I'm lonely and seeking purpose in my life, or my child's chronically ill and I don't know where to turn next, or this guy who's all cool and, they're just looking like there's no problem whatsoever in his life, who's carrying $50,000 in student debt and he can't find a job. We don't know that unless we get into relationship and we love people. And that's really what our business is all about, relationship marketing. So another big shift is, I don't know if any of you have done this, where you've just vomited everything that you know on somebody. I have done that many times. I've backed them into a corner. And it's really about being interested, instead of being interesting. So what we want to do is we want to care more about where they are than what we have to know. Because if they're telling us where they are, we're going to know what's next step to take with them. If you corner somebody, this is the look that you get. You're either going to put somebody to sleep or you're going to scare them to death. So what do we need to do? We need to ask questions. We need to look for needs, provide solutions. Some of my favorite questions are, how's that working for you? Oh, so you're taking a multivitamin. How's that working for you? And then shut up. Just stop talking. Let them talk to you. What are you doing to help in that situation when they're telling you they have a problem? If I had a possible solution, would you be interested in learning more? To ask permission to continue the conversation with them. If I shared a video with you, would you watch it? When do you think you're going to watch it? When can I follow up with you? I care about you. You're just coming from that place of doing what that person needs. And then listen, listen, listen. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I love this definition. A friend of both Wendy and I had really great training with David Young, who is a life coach. And his definition of listening, the purpose of it is to create or to deepen a relationship. Think about that, guys. So we're in relationship marketing. If you want to deepen relationships, listen. Just ask questions and listen. It takes so much pressure off of you too. So how do you listen? You give them the space to show up. You want to have a nice, clean mental space. Next time you're going to listen to somebody, listen to the agenda in your head. We're always contemplating, what are we going to say next? How are we going to direct this in this way? Just wipe it clean. Just let them talk. Let them finish talking. Listen to the words they're saying and don't hijack the conversation. We want to jump in and quickly tell them what the solution is, but let them talk to you. The more they talk to you, the more you're going to know what to do for them. And then repeat the words back to them. So what I hear you saying is, you're really frustrated with your child's health. Listen to the emotion behind the words. I can hear that that's really upsetting to you and you don't know where to turn next. Is that right? When you can share back what you're hearing from them, that connection goes so much deeper. So we just want to really give them the gift of actually being heard. There's a difference between kind of listening and actually giving somebody the gift of being heard. This was a huge, huge shift for me, striving versus thriving. So to strive, the definition is to exert oneself vigorously, to make strenuous efforts towards a goal, to contend in any competition, battle, or conflict, to struggle vigorously as in opposition or resistance. Doesn't sound very appealing to me, and it probably doesn't to you either. To thrive is to prosper, to be fortunate or successful, to grow or develop vigorously, to flourish. So what's the difference? Well, striving is paddling upstream. Striving is focusing on the control of the results or the outcome. This was so huge for me when I finally figured this out. We have no control over the outcome, right? We are in control of how we share, what we share, the follow-up we do, the connection calls we create, the events that we invite to, the relationship building that we do. Not the outcome. If you can let go of the outcome, it will take care of itself and you can let God step in and work. But if you feel like you have to control the outcome, you're just going to make yourself crazy. You're paddling upstream. Thriving is being in flow. And sometimes you're going nice and gently down the river and everything's going very smoothly. Sometimes you are in the rapids with your team, but you're still in flow. It's just got a lot of activity going on. I mean, Wendy can tell you the last couple months leading up to NMD, it was all out crazy, massive action. I had no idea what was coming in and what was going, but I was in it and so was the team. And the results came. So another big one. Those of you who have done the Brene Brown studies through our leadership program, or you've read Daring Greatly, fearing failure is a really, really big fear for a lot of people. And I had it big time because in my corporate job, I couldn't fail. If I failed, then I lost commission. If I failed, I could lose a client. If I failed, I could lose my job. I had a major fear of failure, and I would never talk about it with my team. So my team thought they had to be perfect, and that was just not, I really held back everybody. So what I shifted into and what I finally learned when I humbled myself, and that was a big step in humility for me, was that I was going to grow from that failure. Here's what happens. When we are fearing failure, what we're really fearing is shame. And shame makes us feel really bad about who we are as a person. This is Brene Brown's teaching. So we get into this big circle. We fear failure. We're fearing our shame for ourselves. And we feel bad. We don't want to feel bad about who we are. So we stay in complete paralysis. But what you can do and shift out of is go back to what I said earlier. Remember, successful people don't fear failure, but they understand it's necessary to learn and to grow from. And so I know in this culture, we embrace that failure. Now, if somebody has something where they really fall, it's great. What did you learn from this? That is so awesome that it happened. It is a step towards success for sure. So instead, you want to summon the courage to be vulnerable. So when that fear of failure comes up for you, go back to that statement of I am not perfect, nor will I ever be. I'm a work in progress. And that is definitely good enough. And stand in that. And regardless of the outcome, again, let go of the outcome. I'm courageous, I'm learning, and I'm doing the activity. What happens is that you gain empathy for yourself and for others. You have more gratitude because you worked out of that comfort zone. You worked through that fear by acknowledging that you're not perfect. And regardless of what the outcome is, you're learning and you're growing and you're being courageous. And the growth comes. I promise you the growth comes if you try to step into this. And I love this quote, and I say this to myself frequently when I'm trying to figure out whether or not to move forward in something. Are my choices reflecting my hopes, or are my choices reflecting my fears? What is that fear that holds us back? You want to fall in love with the process and the activity, not the results, because success is a journey. It is not a destination. Just stay plugged into the process, to the activity. And then what can happen is your dreams can come true. I mean, I will never, ever forget this moment of standing on the stage. I can remember going to my first conference and seeing these amazing NMDs cross the stage and Wendy, we were crying together. I was like, look at what they've created in their lives by helping so many other people. I want to be up there. I want my family up there with me. And then it happened, and I got to share my story with everybody who was at the conference. And believe me, when you do that, God steps in, and it's pretty amazing. That's an amazing experience in itself. But it's opened so many doors for us. We now have the time freedom and we have the financial freedom. We went to Italy a couple years ago for our 30th anniversary. It was incredible. We vacation several times a year. This is in Cabo a couple years ago on a girls' trip. I went to Maui with some of my friends that are friends through Juice Plus. We're all different parts of different teams. But we got to go to Maui together in January. This was in Phoenix at the Elton Awards, or the 39 Club Retreat, when you hit National Marketing Director. That's what everybody sees. But the truth is, the success is on the surface, right? What people don't see is the dedication that you have to your business. They don't see the hard work that you do, because if you have goals in the business, you got to work at it. They don't see the good habits that you've created in learning what didn't work, what is working. They don't see the disappointments. And there are disappointments along the way. Things aren't always going to go the way you plan them to, but you have to learn how to discipline your disappointments. The sacrifices that you make, the failures, the persistence, all of that leads to the tip of the iceberg. Because you can stay in the same old street, or you can move into Change Boulevard. Shift happens, but it's up to you. You are the key to getting where you want to go. You, and walking through this and talking to Wendy and Brian and talking about the fears you do have, how can you move through them? Talk about it. Really think about it, journal about it, pray about it. What are those fears that are keeping me moving forward, and how do you shift through those in a new and a different way? So that's it. I hope I didn't take too much time. I was not tracking time.
Okay. No, it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I could hear that over and over and over again. Just so
Oh,
good.
thanks.
Thank you so much, Denny. And I know there's some people walking through some really hard times right now. So I know it's an encouragement to each one of us as we hit those barriers and those places where we feel stuck or we're going through just a really hard time in life and we're trying to figure out how to do Juice Plus in the midst of that time. And I love the beauty of this business and that we have the opportunity to just really embrace when we need to be, where we need to be with our family or whatever's going on, but also what needs to shift so that I can still stay plugged in and still keep this a priority. And so many key nuggets. Do you mind if there's a couple questions? Let me see if anybody
Oh,
has any.
not at all. Yeah, happy
Okay.
to.
Okay, so be sure to unmute yourself, you guys, if you could do that. And if you'd like to ask a question, feel free.
Thank you, Kevin. I got your statement. I'm glad that you can identify with some of that.
So Denny, I have a quick comment, not so much a question. First of all, I want you to know that I'm going to re-listen to this. That was fantastic. It deserves more than one run through. But I love the statements you made. I'm checking my notes here. Choices reflect either your hope or your fears. Boy, that is just so true. That just really hammered me. And yeah, I noticed, when I make choices based on fear versus my hopes, and that is so applicable to this business. So I really appreciate everything that you put together.
Oh, thanks. Well, thanks, Nelson Mandela, for that one.
Yeah. He's got a few of them out there.
He's got a few.
Anybody else? Anyone have a question or comment?
Well, thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of the call. And it's so good to see your faces. And I hope I get to see so many of you at conference. I'm really excited about it. It's an amazing time in our business. We are blessed to be a part of this.
Yes.
We need to go out and bless more people for sure.
I know. We can't wait to see you, and you're an amazing team, Denny. So we'll see you here soon.
Okay.
Friends. All right. Love you. Thank you again. So much.
Oh, thank you so much for asking me to be here. Love you guys.
You bet. Good night.
Have a great evening.
Okay. I know she had to move onward. So, but wasn't that amazing? So grateful for that training. And something to really keep in mind, right? Because, I don't think any one of us is going to be able to, if we want to move forward, we are going to run into those challenges. So it's great to be equipped, isn't it? And just to have thoughts like that we can move into and remember, keep in mind. So, okay, we're going to move on. I would like to have a time of celebration. We didn't celebrate last month a very important promotion of Tori Targart, and she promoted to her 2000 plus, not last month, but the month before. Woo! And I know it wasn't just Tori. Renee is an amazing leader and was by her side, and together they were doing events. They were just on it. They were just on it. And it was just so good to hear what she was doing and how she was doing it. And so I asked her to share. So she's going to share a little bit about that, as well as a really special experience that I don't know about yet either. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Renee.
Hi, everyone. I think in the beginning, I'm going to relate a little bit of this to Denny's talk too, because in the beginning, I think I was so intimidated about maybe the lack of information I felt I didn't have. And that was my fear. I just didn't have enough information to sell this. And I was a little bit, by the time we got Tori situated, I felt like I was a lot stronger then. And I think the whole thing for me came down to just, hey, I can tell you one thing about myself. I have a big heart. I know how to love people like nobody's business. I mean, I've always been genuine that way and been very compassionate. And so I think as soon as I got out of my head and just really started loving everybody and just was myself and just not worry about everything else and just kept it simple. It is only fruits and vegetables, and started to share how it's affected my family in good ways and some of the people around me. And then, obviously I got Tori on board. We just started talking to everyone, and I felt like things started picking up momentum and moving quickly. And I'll tell you, for us to, talking was great with people, but having events, really, the events are really so important. I can't even stress that. And I'm getting ready to have another one here shortly for someone that we're bringing on underneath us. And I just think that is so important. So as much as, I know there's a lot of work that goes into events. And if you can have an event, like I would love to have an event like at least once a month, maybe twice a month, but still I talk to everybody around me. And like I said, I just left the fear, excuse me, of the knowledge and just kept it simple and just started sharing with everyone just, just these compassionate, inspiring stories. And I let them talk about, what was going on with their family and everything. And then, I would try to, give them a little bit pieces of advice here and there to think, this is what this happened for this person. You don't want to make them promises or anything, but you want to inspire them to try the product and to give it a chance. And it's important that they know that they have to be consistent with taking the product, and they need to be on it for some months before they may see any benefit. So yeah, with Tori and I just think that, I don't know, together, both of us, we just really picked up momentum. So, and then I just got much more comfortable. Wendy, you were awesome with helping me. Sharon was awesome. I know Sharon's not on the call tonight, but she was awesome. I would call her all the time. And there was never a stupid question. I would always think there was, but she was always great about everything. And so was Wendy. So yeah, I think, like I said, just to get out of your head, leave your fear alone. Don't worry about the knowledge that you think that you need, because when I just started keeping it simple and then I was just myself, everything just started happening quickly. So, and I'm really I bet you I'm talking to probably 24 people right now. Now, I seem to have a little trouble closing a little bit, or I feel like I do, but really I think it's just, some people are ready sooner than other people, and you just have to be patient with them and continue to love them and just try to move forward with that, and not, try not to get in your head about that either, or get upset about that. That's just going to be what it is. So.
Mm. Well, thank you. I have to say, I saw such a shift in you. Such a shift in you. And I just knew it was happening. I knew you were going to get it because you were talking to so many people, and you just seemed very comfortable. And something did shift in you, and it was just so cool to watch. And I did think it was just realizing, you know what, I've got a heart that cares. This isn't about selling something. It's about really protecting someone's life with nutrition and really caring for them. And you have such a big heart, Renee, such a big heart, and it's beautiful. So that's what this business is about, is taking your heart that cares and sharing and educating. So very excited. I wish Tori could have been on. She's not on, is she?
No. She had a bunch of work she was doing tonight. And yeah, I didn't even say a lot to her about it because I knew she was overloaded. But before we get off real quick, I wanted to share the story with you because it was pretty exciting, I felt like. And I know this is the first time Wendy's heard it too. But so I have a set of twins. They're 17. They just turned 17. One of them has been struggling for a long time with allergies and asthma. And, we get better, we take 7 steps forward and 10 steps back. And I kept continually telling him, Tanner, I can't help you see the benefit of Juice Plus if you only take it 3 or 4 days a week, maybe 5. And you have to take it for months to see the long-term help of all of it. And, he's a teenager. So, I'm sure most of you have had teenagers, and they all kind of have their mind about everything. And sometimes when the parents say things, it kind of sounds like, want, want, want. So you just kind of have to, deal with them the best you can. So when I was forcing him to take it Monday through Friday, he was getting it before school, and I'm making breakfast for him every day. But some on the weekends, that just wasn't happening. So we went to Dr. Bill Parker. He's actually my neighbor. He's an allergy asthma specialist here in Beaver Creek. He's sat on the board of Dayton Children's Hospital. He started in pediatrics. He's a very well known and respected doctor here in this area, very known. And we went to him the other day to have Tanner. Tanner has a strong peanut allergy, and we were trying to see, how he's actually gotten through some of it, and he's actually out of his, he's allowed to eat eggs now. So we're starting to make a shift ourselves with him. But still, I keep telling him every single weekend, you've got to get this in you. You got to help me help you get this in you. So I have been wanting for a while to talk to Dr. Bill about maybe becoming a Juice Plus customer of mine, but the right time just hasn't presented itself. And early on, I felt not comfortable enough with myself to talk to someone who has so much knowledge on health. But like I said, after I got through that, we're in the office last week, and it presented itself big time because it was just me and Tanner and him. And he came back in and he said, Tanner, are you taking anything? And Tanner was like, well, I'm taking Juice Plus. And at that point, I chimed in and said, Dr. Bill, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? I was wanting to talk to you about Juice Plus. And he said, well, as a matter of fact, Renee, I've been taking Juice Plus for over 20-something years. Like 20 plus years. Well, at this point, my son, Tanner, his whole jaw just drops, and he just was like, what? Looking at him. And he was like, I can see, Tanner, that you're surprised, and you're probably asking yourself, why is Dr. Bill taking Juice Plus? And he says, I'm going to tell you why I've been taking Juice Plus for over 20 plus years is because it just makes good sense. And I just thought that was so fabulous. And I was like inspired and touched by that moment because, when the twins came in, they were premature. We had a lot of health problems with them. And we just moved in when I was pregnant. And he was kind of right there by my side the whole time. Like if I had a problem with him on the weekend or late at night, like he would come over. I mean, he's just an awesome man, So I was really thrilled, and I'm thrilled to share that story with you guys all because he's just such a respectful doctor in the area. And, and that, like I said, got Tanner's attention big time. And my mother-in-law has started taking this a month ago, hasn't seen a lot of change just yet, she was in here a week ago and was getting just a little bit antsy about that. Told her that story, called her. She lives in Indiana, got her on the speakerphone. Todd and I told her the story. Total change of heart because she knows this guy also. She's familiar with him. He's well respected. And it's just and I've been telling this story to all my neighbors, a couple of them. Have a pharmacist in here and a couple other people that have been very skeptical. We're looking to meet now and set up appointments and stuff. So I don't know. It's just a really inspiring story. So hopefully I inspired you. Anybody that knows him, I feel like is going to be inspired, especially the ones that have been really hard to reach, which I feel like anyone in the pharmaceutical industry might be hard to reach because they're kind of on the other side of the fence, but you kind of got to just place their mind at ease. It's not them versus us. It's just all of us together, just trying to get a healthy movement going and, trying to inspire as many people as we can to just live a healthy lifestyle and live a longer lifestyle in our children, change the world really. So yeah, I was so inspired. I'm telling you the whole night I was just beyond inspired. Everyone I talked to, I told the story to. I call my whole family. So hopefully it inspired you. It's just a really neat story. So thank you for letting me share that with all of you.
So good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing it. And, You know, we sometimes I think we're surprised, and yet we know what it does in the body, right? We know what the research shows, so it makes sense. But then to have someone of such integrity who is walking alongside of so many people, do you know if he's recommending it through the practice?
I don't know if he's recommended. I didn't have a, because he was getting ready to cut out to lunch, and then he's got a catering office, so he was getting ready to travel.
Okay.
And the one thing I was like, oh, bummer, I can't get him as a client. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm going to find out more about everything. And I was thinking, Wendy, wow, wouldn't that have been fantastic if he would have even talked to us about this when the twins were, younger in age.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was
struggling so hard with their health.
I know. And you might be able to just encourage that, in him, and really suggest what it, because it could save people's lives. Some of these
I
allergies
know.
that kids have today to peanuts and who knows what. There's just so many allergies today. And some kids die. Some kids do not survive that. So,
Right.
oh, wow. Well, I'm just so grateful, and I'm grateful for how that affected you. And now you're out there just sharing it and making a difference in your neighbors and everybody's lives. Those are the things that kind of shift in us. And so much of that often happens at conference. We're always just so blown away by everything we're hearing. But wow, I mean, here it was right there in your appointment,
I know.
As you're
And
talking.
for
And your
that
son
many
got
years,
to.
I was just like, gosh, I wish I'd have known about this sooner. But it's all right. I know about it now. So
Yes. You guys, we are so blessed, aren't we? We are so blessed to have in our hands what we have in our hands to bring to people. And it's just powerful. It overwhelms me. I don't think I'll ever, ever, ever get tired. After 20 years, I'm in tears just listening to you talk. So we will never get tired of it, because it's what our bodies need, and it's what the world needs. It's what people around us need. So yeah, we just need to be bold, right? Take what you just shared, take what Denny just shared, and let's bring it together and just, get out there and make a difference. So thank you. Thank you so much.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Yeah, and I know, Holly, you were going to share something with us too tonight.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to take a minute to talk about some of my takeaways of looking back at my business the last 8.5 years, and just really kind of like the main focus for me, why I'm still in it. We always say that you can only fail if you quit. And so I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, and just really talking about staying present in your business daily. You guys, it doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes we've got crazy lives, but check that Voxer. If you're not checking that daily, a couple times a day, 5 minutes, guys, you can do that. And there's a little fast forward, people can talk faster. So just make sure you're doing that at least to stay connected every day. Maybe you're watching a Juice Plus video, and we've got an overabundance of those amazing videos, and it'll help you with your verbiage, and it'll help you feel more confident in what you're sharing. So missiondriven.info, Healthy Living Revolution. We've got great webinars. Your website, just go there. YouTube, there's a plethora. So make sure, you're putting that into there. Or for 30 seconds, you can go on social media and post something. Let people see that you understand nutrition. It doesn't have to be Juice Plus, but something, and be consistent. And then a lot of people are doing Teamsy. And so, that can be a very short, time frame. You go in and you get your job done and you go out. So, those, just making sure that you're present. And if you can't do all of them, do something. Consistency is key. Always been key for me. Life happens, and yes, we want vacations, but you got to stay plugged in. And so, take that downtime to recharge, but make sure that it's not too long. And, you can still check Voxer on vacation, guys, 5 minutes, so you're staying connected and ready when you get back and you haven't missed anything. And then, let's see. Yes, the other thing too is just really making sure customer care is a priority. Because that is first and foremost. These people have trusted us with their health, and that's a vulnerable thing. And so if you don't feel like doing your customer care and they're getting shipments they're not ready for, that's not fair. So if you're having problems with that, talk to your upline and they'll help you, but make sure that customer is your priority and they're taken care of one way or another. And so just reiterating Renee's talk about the events. Yes, again, consistency. You got to have those consistent events, whether they're online, in person. It doesn't have to be the same event, but make sure you're doing something. Make sure you're attending something. You know, you're going to the summits. And then, of course, the mothership is conference, which I'm so pumped about. I get to see my besties, and I get to be in that group of people, these glowing, amazing people that are all there to help you. You know, there's not one person, I don't think, that doesn't want you to succeed in there, and to be able to be around all the people that have the same belief in this company and this business that you do is just so comforting. So if you're on the fence, or maybe you're saying, no, I'm not going, change your mind, and we'll see you there.
Yes. Thank you, Holly. I just so appreciate you sharing, because you do have just what it takes to do this business. You are so consistent. You never, I'm always amazed, like, just take time off, Holly, it's okay. And she's always like on Voxer and checking things out. I love that too, because then, like you said, you're not behind when you get back. You feel like you're kind of in the loop, but it only took 5 minutes. So I know I'm the same way. It's very rare for me to not listen to Voxer when I'm away, but you certainly can. We're certainly, you know, also saying take a vacation. So, but thank you. Appreciate your leadership so much, Holly, all that you do. And you're always such an inspiration, such an inspiration. So thank you. Appreciate
Back at ya.
Go Titans. That was a great win. Okay, so I do want to talk about conference. You guys, it's not too late. I feel like this conference is going to be a conference that goes down in history as one that is really set apart. And we've got beautiful changes coming. And, you know, it is going to be one where we're wanting to be there and listen and understand it from the center stage, from, you know, the people there. So it's not too late if you're not scheduled to come. If you're not planning on coming, we still have space. We still have rooms. Tickets really weren't too bad price-wise, so we could help you look into that. So just please do be in touch if you even might be able to come. Would love to talk through and just see how we can help you work that out. So let us know if you know 100% that you cannot come. I am going to go over some conference stuff, so if you would like to jump off, that's okay. I just want to talk about, you know, just some questions that people might have. Just hear from you guys. A lot of you are experienced conference goers, so I would love for you to just hang in there for the rest of the call, because you probably will have some things that you want to add, and I want to just make sure that we answer any questions that anybody might have. So for about the next 10 minutes, we'll focus on that, okay? So, yeah, so anyway, I've been looking at the temperature of what the weather's like there. It's been in the 90s, and then next week it's going to be in the 80s, and so we'll see what it's going to be. I was able to see up until the 10th. We're going to actually start conference on the 17th, so it was like 85 on the 10th. So we'll see and kind of keep an eye on that. We'll definitely be posting that in our Voxer chat. So we have the Austin Live Voxer chat for everybody going to conference. If you're not in that and you haven't been receiving some messages, that means you're probably not in it. I think I have everybody in there, but let me know if I'm missing anybody. If you haven't been receiving any messages there, let me know. You definitely, even though it's going to be 85, 90, most likely bring layers, because it's very chilly in the conference center. I feel like I am always so cold. Well, I've learned, you know, to bring something with me, but you do want to bring layers, definitely a sweater for the conference center. And then we always pack snacks. We have, you know, nuts and different things that we bring, and then we kind of pass those around for each other, and everybody kind of shares. We all try to sit in a similar place. So just know that. And we'll just be in touch via that Voxer chat. But when we come in, like say you come, the stage is on the left. When you walk in the side, we would go to the far back Jumbotron, okay? And so that's just a general kind of rule that we have. We've always done it. If you enter in through the very back of the auditorium, then we go to the right, okay? So the back behind that Jumbotron. But we will stay in touch and make sure that we can find each other. Most of us, I think, will be staying together anyway. So, and prayer breakfast. I think just about everybody's going to prayer breakfast. I will get the table number out to you as soon as I have it. I do not have that yet. It hasn't gone out yet. So as soon as I know, I'll make sure that you have your ticket and you're aware of which table. You really don't need a ticket as long as you know what table number you're at. So you could keep that in your phone or whatever. And we have 2 tables, so we'll make sure that you guys know where to go for that. Transportation, I think we're staying in touch on Voxer Chat about when people are coming in as far as the flights, when they're leaving, and trying to coordinate some of the taking an Uber or shuttle or whatever it might be to the airport. So keep an eye out on that. And if you haven't shared your travel plans, please do share those with us so that we know when you're coming in, because you might be able to share a ride with somebody. Look for opportunities to introduce yourself to people. You're going to see people that you hear. You might run into Catherine Lee. I mean, if you have the opportunity, go up to her and introduce yourself. Tell her that you're a part of our team, and you know, people that you have heard. If there is an opportunity, please take advantage of that. This is the time. Everybody is so kind, unless they are in a huge hurry to get somewhere and need to get somewhere. Please do, you know, just see what you can do to take the time to meet people. And we'll do the same. If I see somebody and I'm with one of you or a couple of you, I'm going to just definitely go up to that person and introduce you. I might not fully know them either. So we'll definitely look for opportunities like that. Let's see, take lots of pictures. It is so much fun to come back and just kind of go through your pictures. And what we do is we post them all in that Team Integrity Austin live chat. And then we have tons of pictures. You probably won't get a lot of yourself, but other people are going to get pictures of you with other people. And it's just nice to have a community of pictures that we can, you know, save to our phones and save to our computers and look back on. It's just a lot of fun. Let's see, what else? Be sure that you're ready to take good notes, especially if you're a note taker. Some people just like to just take it all in. But one of the things that might happen is take a look at your memory jogger before you go. But then also in the back of your notebook, I always recommend bringing a separate notebook just because they'll give you one, but usually they're pretty small. And I feel like it's just not enough space. I like to take notes, so it's definitely not enough space for me. So if you bring a notebook that it's especially for your notes, in the very back of that, I just start listing. I list people that come to mind because you'll be hearing these speakers and you might think of somebody. So list, you know, just make a list of people, and then I also have on another page in the back, the to-do list. I just get going on a to-do list. And that way, it's kind of hard to go back over all of your notes when you get home, but you know some things to go ahead and move into and get started with. So just want to encourage you to do that. You can bring a highlighter if you want and either highlight or asterisks or something. If you don't have time to put them in the back, you know at least there's some key things that you're going to remember to get started on when you get back. And then just have a good time, make new friends, have a good time. It's just so much fun, but also be present. The Jim Rohn has a saying, and I'm going to read it to you just because I feel like it's really important. It's wherever you are, be there. Okay. So one of the major reasons why we fail to find happiness or to create a unique lifestyle is because we have not yet mastered the art of being. While we are home or with family, our thoughts are still absorbed with solving the challenges we face at work, whatever it might be, a need to follow up with somebody. Or when we're at work, we find ourselves worrying about problems or challenges at home. We go through the day without really listening to what other people are saying to us. We may be hearing the words, but we're not really absorbing the message. As we go through the day, we find ourselves focusing on past experience or future possibilities. We are so involved in yesterday and tomorrow that we never really notice today slipping by. We go through the day, rather than getting something from the day, we are everywhere at any given moment in time except living in that moment of time. Lifestyle is learning to be wherever you are. It is developing a unique focus on the current moment and drawing from it all of the substance and wealth of the experience and emotions that it has to offer. Lifestyle is taking time to watch a sunset. Lifestyle is listening to silence. Lifestyle is capturing each moment so that it becomes a new part of what we are and what we are in the process of becoming. Lifestyle is something we do. It is something we experience. And until we learn to be there, we will never master the art of living well. So just keep that in mind while you're at conference. Keep it in mind just in general anyway. Just I feel like it's something just worth living by. But I also want to just turn it back over to you guys and see if there are any questions. I mean, I want to hear from you if you have any questions about conference. I know we have some new people coming. So Any questions?
I actually have a question, Wendy.
Yeah.
I just was curious about something. I asked Sharon this the other day, but she didn't have any answer for me. But I was curious to know if you knew anything about that lift that was going to be coming out. But then I thought it was going to be coming out prior to the conference, but then we just haven't heard anything about it at all. I don't know, a month or two. I just was curious about it.
Yeah, we'll get an update on it for sure at conference. It was never going to be before this conference, but they've been saying next year.
Okay.
So there's just some things about it that they're still working on. For example, the name, Lyft, we've got the Lyft drivers. So I think they'll be changing the name. They're talking about maybe changing the taste of it a little bit and tweaking that. They're spending a lot of money on the packaging. So, is there a more simple way we could do the packaging so we can lower the price? So there's just some things that they're just not going to put it out there until it is ready to go, 100% ready to go.
Okay, I just was wondering, we kind of heard, some hype and excitement about it, and then I just didn't hear anything about it after that.
I know. Just laying low on that until we hear too. I mean, we do get an update, but it's always, it's out there. So and she'll share a little bit about
Hey, wait, can I add something to
what?
Mind if I add something to your answer?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So one thing for everybody to know is that corporate is extremely good at product introduction, and they go through a very, very slow and tedious process. They do little steps, lots of soft launches is what they call them. They get feedback, they soft launch again, they get feedback. And so this is a very normal process for them where we'll hear about it. It'll be a little bit like a teaser, but what's happening behind the scenes is they're working out all the kinks so that when they do actually make a full launch, they have a 100% success rate. I mean, when you look at the fruits and vegetables, the berry blend, the omegas, the Tower Garden, every one of them has launched exceptionally well, and that's what they're going to do with Lyft as well. So just know that it is part of the process, and corporate's very, very good about product introduction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Yep, definitely. Okay, anything else? I know Katie was asking about shoes, and just definitely be comfortable. We'll be doing a lot of walking, and we can take Ubers and stuff. I think our hotel's like a mile away or so. So if we're in a hurry or we just want to take an Uber, it costs barely anything. But there is quite a bit of walking. So just be comfortable. If you want to bring tennis shoes, it's totally fine. I was also mentioning that Friday tends to be, if there's a day where people are a little bit more snappy, casual, we call it, it would be on Friday. So, and then Saturday, just don't you think, Holly, seems to be a little bit more casual? Thursday, a little bit more casual.
Yeah, I think really all of it, like I know you're an MD, so it's a little bit different for you, but you'll see everybody in just like workout gear too. So Friday, because of the prayer breakfast, I think that'd be the only reason that you'd look a little bit nicer than, a tank top and yoga pants. I'll be in yoga pants.
Yeah. Holly's always in yoga pants. So, okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, Patty? Patty, is there any way you might be able to join us? No?
I'm thinking I should wait and not come this year. It sounds really great, but
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm quite there yet.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It sounds really great. I know you're going to have a wonderful time and learn a lot.
Yes.
So I will miss being there, but
we will miss you for sure, and we'll bring it back to you. I'm going to be doing a series of some calls afterwards, those last few weeks of October, just to make sure everybody understands some of the changes that are happening. So I don't want you guys to feel, those that are going, I don't want you to feel like, this seems like a lot, because it probably will. But we've had 6 months to get ready, and so we'll be, helping you understand it when we get back. and I don't think it's going to be complicated. It's really going to be simplifying things. And, that as you can see with the numbers and the price rebalance, $50 versus something 44.75 or whatever, it makes the compensation plan a lot easier when you're talking about simplicity of numbers as well. So, but it'll be awesome. Anything else, Sherry? Do you have any questions? Okay. I know it's been hard for some of you to get there, so thank you for all you are doing to just bring it together, make it happen. It's not easy, and I understand that completely. So, all right. Well, I will let you guys go. Thanks so much for being on. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good night. Sleep well.
You
Yes.
too. Thank
Buddy.
you.
Wendy.
Bye-bye.
Love
Thanks,
you.
Wendy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great call. Great
Good to
call.
see you.